I give. But as far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of hullabaloo. I think it should be done. I think it's a little bit shabby, the way they are investigating. They should investigate it in a more cleaner manner. Because what I'm seeing, like this thing of taking the car around town, that's the showbiz, as far as I'm concerned. Those cars could have been driven to the police headquarters. So those are the kind of things I don't agree with. I agree that if there are allegations, they should follow them through and bring them out. And I don't agree with those. Oh, why are they doing it? It's better late than never. If they start now, it means they have started. And I've been saying this for years. The problem with this country is corruption. It's a very bad system within and outside the country, and we should try and clean it up as soon as possible if we want to have a good development of this nation.
Captain, I'm going to come back to you. Timothy, let me come back to you for a bit. The question here is, what do we learn from all this as we enter into the 12th Parliament?
Thank you, Samson. I think that there's quite a lot to look if smelling the coffee is a thing. Because I think that the president and the system seems to be a bit more deliberate. And I think what is exciting more, and especially for Ugandans, is the top-bottom approach. You know, for corruption, what we've seen largely is the attention on the smaller fish, and the bigger fish seems to have their way many times. And so seeing a few people, especially those at the top tier, facing the consequences of their actions, I think that it gives a fresh breath to the fight against corruption. But also, more importantly, I think that for the 12th Parliament is to note that they should take their work more serious. I think that they play a very critical role in the governance of the country, in the question of aspects to do with the value for money, and to the extent that an institution such as Parliament taint itself, they lose moral authority to hold other institutions accountable or even follow questions about value for money. So I think that for me this is very important. Of course, the other and probably a bit problematic issues for me is that this creates fear, and even times when they should be able to look at things sometimes objectively, fear, they are likely to start legislating under fear, which greatly compromises their ability to pursue their roles.
And I'm going to ask both of you, but I'll begin with you, Timothy, and then end with Captain Babu. Anita Nintamong could rightfully argue that this is a political witch hunt because there were people involved in the Mabati saga who went off really lightly and nothing ever happened. Some would argue, or those in her camp would say, she's being hunted. And you had the former Lop saying, this is about her ambitions, and she could have had big ambitions, and this is what it is about, not corruption. What would you say to that? Then I can get to Captain to answer the same question.
I think that to make a case against that is extremely hard, because you see, when you see the flamboyant lifestyle that the speaker lived, when you see many of these items being picked from her premises, it signifies some level of involvement in misuse of resources and probably also misuse of power and office. And so to deviate to say that probably they are being politically witch-hunted, I think that for me is a secondary issue. But more importantly is around how she's been able to steer the institution in terms of aspects to do with the resources and really steering leadership that 11th Parliament should be proud of. There could be connotations around politics and the timing, which is right, but you know, it's very hard to wish away aspects to do with aspects of management of resources, aspects to do with how she's been able to galvanize her support, the resources, to pursue sometimes her interests, which of course, politically, it could be a threat to the establishment, but also a threat to how the question of corruption is evolving in the country.
Captain Babu, you are very familiar with whataboutism, because now people are saying, what about so-and-so? What about so-and-so? Does that make fighting corruption very difficult? Because over the years, a lot of people have been slapped very lightly on the hand and others let off. And therefore, no reason why some should be picked and others left.
To be frank with you, I don't think this is a waste of time. What we have to do is, whether it is in the past or the present, and you've got enough information and enough allegations which can be proved, that somebody can be taken to the court of law and it can be proved that they are guilty, and they're there. The problem is we've been handling it with gloves hands. We've not handled it very well. There are people we know, and they're pretending to be very, very clean. They are not. Therefore, what they have started today, it should be the beginning. Don't start thinking about what they have missed. Let us try to galvanize what we have now, and let us not be unfair, like the other gentleman has said. Don't be unfair to one person. If the system has started working, let it work. Don't make it work only for this particular thing because you don't want somebody to become a speaker. Let us make it work because the allegations here, let's follow the law. Let the innocent be proved guilty in the courts of law. Let them go to jail. But don't make a whole baloo out of it, make a big Hollywood picture out of it, and make movies. No. Let's arrest these people with proof and take them to the courts of law. And as far as I'm concerned, if a mistake was made, correct it, because it can be corrected. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to waste my point, even pointing. I want us to follow, like I told you, let us not be shabby. Let's follow the procedures, let's do it correctly, and let these people be taken to the courts of law and let the law take its course. That's my view. Now, when we are talking, I could go back in that parliament and tell you that we've been hearing all sorts of things, but that's a waste of time. Why should I start picking on small things like that? The people who are concerned should investigate, and they should therefore produce, using the DPP of this country, and take these people to the courts of law. As far as I'm concerned, that's what we're supposed to do. The rest is sure, as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you very much, Captain Edward Francis Babu. You're lucky you are out of public service, so you can wear personalized branded shirts and nobody will be asking big questions about how you got them. Thank you, Captain Edward Francis Babu there, and Timothy Chemonges. Thank you a bunch for your time. This is what is coming in a bit.
More to come, brought to you by
Blended pure vegetable cooking oil, second best to a mother's love.
Well, as they say these days, Echija Simuntu. We will tell you who is leading the race to be Deputy Speaker. Echija Simuntu. Story ye nyini nyini atenga nene yeja.
In a world that's always changing, the foundations of trust must stay strong. For over 60 years, we've built the minds that build trust, shaping the professionals who carry confidence into boardrooms, communities, and lives. Because trust doesn't happen by chance, it's built, tested, and taught. As the world moves forward, so do we, blending data, innovation, and human insight to prepare the next generation of industry leaders.
Insurance Training College in Uganda, enhancing professionalism.
If whiskey could talk, Johnny Walker Black Label would sing. With notes that only come with 12 years in a barrel. Sweet, smooth toffee, rich fruit, and a touch of smoke. Tastes as good as it sounds.
Carrying cash can be stressful. The I&M Bank multi-currency prepaid card makes paying smart and simple. Load and spend confidently in 9 currencies: Ugandan shilling, Kenyan shilling, Tanzanian shilling, Rwandan franc, Indian rupees, United States dollar, British pound, euro, and South African rand. Enjoy safe, simple payments wherever you go. The I&M Bank multi-currency prepaid card is open to everyone, whether you have an I&M Bank account or not. Get yours today and pay confidently worldwide in 9 currencies.
I&M Bank Uganda Limited is regulated by Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund up to 10 million shillings. Terms and conditions apply.
I&M Bank, on your side.
There's a new way to keep your breath fresh all day. Introducing Movit All Day Toothpaste, meant to give you powerful night gum defense and teeth whitening. The charcoal flavor gives you deep cleansing and power stain removal. And the herbal delivers natural strength for healthy, confident smiles. Choose Movit All Day Toothpaste and enjoy freshness all day.
So, Muchara.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. Huh? For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later. Huh?
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165 *80 hash or use the Momo app.
Start something new, something uplifting, something so effortless and golden. A thirst-quenching burst of sweetness and multi-flavor, so rich and full of memories. It's 100% taste, 0 alcohol. Try it, savor it, feel it elevate every moment. Sip after sip, gulp after gulp. After all, life's about turning ordinary thrills into golden chills.
Start something malty with the new Evervest Malt Apple and Pineapple. Try the burst of sweetness and multi-flavor. It's 100% taste, 0 alcohol. Available in a shop or supermarket near you. Evervest Malt. Make every moment golden. Evervest Malt is from the makers of PepsiCo.
One of the hottest stories of the evening is the race for the Deputy Speaker of Parliament and Member of Parliament for Mwenge South in Amasengejje District. Mary Kutesa Kamuli has declared her bid for Deputy Speaker of the 12th Parliament, pointing to her experience as head of the legal departments of both the Uganda Revenue Authority and the Uganda National Roads Authority. Speaking to media in Kampala, he said Parliament needs an experienced principled and leader who can work alongside endorsed candidate Minister Jacob Oboth to restore public trust in the institution. This is a big story beginning.
I want to offer myself really keenly because the women's voice is very important.
As for the race for the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, it's up. Mwenge South Member of Parliament, Mary Kutesa Kamuli, has entered the contest, positioning herself as the candidate the 12th Parliament needs.
I am an advocate with 20 years of experience.
Kutesa says her campaign is anchored in her legal and leadership experience.
I started my legal practice in the Department of Directorate of Public Prosecution as a state attorney.
Addressing journalists in Kampala, Kutesa said her record as head of legal at both the Uganda Revenue Authority and the Uganda National Roads Authority had given her solid grounding in leadership, management, governance, and policy formulation.
I have drafted so many policies. I have been at the top governance of these institutions.
flanked by fellow legislators. She said she had been mentored by leaders who do not tolerate corruption and abuse of office. Kutesa argues that Parliament needs a deputy speaker who is committed to restoring sanity and public trust in the institution.
If my credentials are found suitable, I am available to the NRM party for service.
From combating tax evasion at URA to overhauling legal services at UNRA, she has earned a reputation for principled and results-driven leadership. Other MPs described Kutesa Kamuli as a tested leader, a cadre of the NRM, and a champion of development in her constituency.
She's a team leader. She has the people's views at heart.
She's hardworking. She's a uniting factor.
Executive Committee of the NRM to consider such a champion.
Let's go to other candidates. Buyaga West Member of Parliament Dennis Namara has announced his bid for the vacant Deputy Speaker of the 12th Parliament, pledging to strengthen the fight against corruption and support the government's development agenda. Addressing the media at Parliament, Namara said his experience in legislation, both as a former IALA MP and a former NRM Central Executive Committee member, had prepared him to take on the role. He added that his leadership in Parliament would also help President Yoweri Museveni and the government in achieving the goals of the National Development Plan 3.
And I have no question whatsoever that there is no candidate more qualified than myself, both in terms of experience and in terms of cadreship, to steer this Parliament to ensure there is no corruption. That is very, very important, to fight corruption, as we fight to ensure that we pass the legislations of the President, of the Executive. We have to fight corruption. There's no question about it. Because that is now the most important pillar of the President and even General Moho's MK. His major weapon now and the government is saying no corruption, zero tolerance to corruption. And I'm coming as a crusader to fight corruption, not only in Parliament, but also in all the other arms of government, in all the other ministries, because they will all be reporting to Parliament when they are coming to scrutinize their budgets, when they are coming for under the Public Accounts Committee, COSASE, they will be coming here. So we have to ensure that the Parliament is clean and all ministries are clean. We have to help the President and the government to achieve UNDP 4, to ensure we attain middle income status, grow the economy tenfold, and ensure our people are extremely doing well in terms of wealth. So I request all the members of Parliament, of the 12th Parliament, to give me their vote to be able to work on what other people have not worked on and steer of the President and the agenda of the NRM forward.
At the persons within the race for the Deputy Speaker and looking at how the various regions have positioned themselves in there. Of course, we'll come back right there, but we'll begin with the Honourable Otto Edward McMort from Agago County. That's very much in Acholi sub-region. The Honourable Babide Chitio, Member of Parliament Bukoto East, she is in the rest talking about big ambitions. Honourable Annette Nabaduka, and she is from Chibale in Bunyoro, and the Honourable Jackson Kafuzi, MP Chaka South. This is not the first time he is into the race for big position. The Honourable Lydia Wanyoto, Women Member of Parliament, that is Mbale City Bugisu. She has dropped the big ambition for Speaker. I think she's seen that one has slipped out of her hands, and thought that maybe perhaps because of that tweet we are looking for a woman and those kinds of things, then dropped to the Deputy Speaker's race. Will she get it? We will wait. The Honourable Lillian Abe, District Woman of Parliament Kitgum in Acholi as well. She is in the race. And then the Honourable Dennis Namara, Buyaga West in Bunyoro. And then very late in the race, Mary Kutesa Kamuli, Member of Parliament, Kamwenge South in Toro. So some regions in Acholi does have two persons in that race. Buganda does have a person in the race. Is it likely to go to Toro? We haven't had too many people from Ankole. And then some regions have positioned themselves in the race for the Speaker 4. But the race is really down to the Deputy Speaker race. That's where there is a tight race because we haven't seen any anointing. But that be as it may, according to reporting available for us, we do have a fly on a very big wall. And it does point to the idea that she might have entered very late into the race, but that race seems to be pointing in the direction of the Member of Parliament from Toro, Kutesa Kamuli. That's where the point, according to our reporting, seems to be. She is a lawyer. She has been in the DPP's office. You just don't scatter around and end up in the DPP's office. And if you know, you know. Once you move from UNRA, once you move from URA and you follow your journey to UNRA, then you're just not everybody. So there's a lot going on in there. But she is a crusader and a public sector performer. Kutesa is credited with combating tax evasion at URA, overhauling legal services at URA as well. And she is championing community work that has driven her political ambition. And I can tell you, from what we now do know, that race seems to be pointing in that direction. A lot of people are saying that all arrows lead that way. If it ends up right there, do not say that your station did not tell you. This lady here seems to be at the moment in the very thick scheme of things. That's where it seems to be pointing. But for now, let's get into the feedback for the evening.
Feedback brought to you by.
They are designed to support your growth. Visit absa.co.ug for personal loans that help where it matters. ABSA, your story matters.
As usual, we ask a question and then float it out there for you to respond to it. Let's go back to the question. Parliament prepares for new leadership. What qualities should the next speaker bring to strengthen trust and efficiency in the House? And then the responses came flying in. Next speaker should be firm, neutral, transparent, and able to restore public trust in Parliament. Ugandans want leadership that listens, manages debates fairly, and puts national interest first. That's what Owen is saying. Who else is there other than Franco? Mohanji says the next speaker should actually not only be a lawyer but also an advocate. The difference is that a lawyer just studies law, but an advocate applies the law. Application involves strong enforcement and monitoring by the concerned party. This creates trust and efficiency. That's Mohanji there. I think he's an advocate himself. Does it matter? Basing on how fast the quality is fed once they are inside there. He is completely pessimistic, no hope at all. Emmanuel in there. Did you have some of what you put out there on? Well, excitement has engulfed Bukit sub-region following revelations that outgoing Defence Minister Jacob Oboth is one of those being considered for the top parliamentary job. From legislators openly pledging support to residents, describing it as Bukit's long-awaited breakthrough. The endorsement has sparked fresh political hope ahead of the decisive vote on the 25th of this month.
What started as a mere speculation about who would become the Speaker of the 12th Parliament has now turned into a political reality, taking shape before the eyes of many. From the Saturday celebration at his home in Mukono, the excitement has now extended to Bukit sub-region, the birthplace of Oboth. In West Budama Central constituency, which Oboth represents, residents say the endorsement reflects the trust and loyalty he has built over the years within the ruling National Resistance Movement Party. Locals credit him for strengthening NRM support in the area during the recently concluded elections.
We saw this coming, particularly as the voters of here, because during the campaign period, really Honorable Oboth came on ground and really looked for the votes for His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, to the extent that we managed to score something that we had never seen ever before.
Doesn't brag. He will never show off.
Even if he finds here people, he will tell his team that, stop, I want to kill those people.
Somebody who can go down and share a meal with an old woman at the village. When you bring your level to such distance, you give hope to the people who are near you.
To many leaders in Bukedeo, Both's possible elevation to the speakership is being viewed as more than just a political appointment. They describe it as a long-awaited opportunity for the region to finally gain stronger national visibility and influence.
We are confident that him now at the helm of policy making, we shall have better opportunities for the Bukedeo.
Most of our challenges we now know can be tabled and can be handled.
Very tolerant, a man who can absorb shocks, a man who's focused, a man who drives to the end without losing direction.
I'm not just a voter, but I will mobilize for you.
Now, with anticipation continuing to build across Bukedeo and beyond, supporters can only wait for the 25th of this month, the day Parliament decides whether Jacob Oboth will officially become the Speaker of Uganda's 12th Parliament.
Two names from northern Uganda are featuring among those who should be considered for the position of Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Norbert Mao for Speakership and Lillian Abe for the Deputy. We asked the common person from the region what they make of the two names prominently surfacing for these two important positions.
Abe Lillian, duly nominated as a candidate.
As days move closer to the election of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of 12 Parliament, two names have surfaced strongly from Acholi sub-region, Norbert Mao and Lillian Abe for Speaker and Deputy Speaker respectively. For Mao, he declared earlier his intention to challenge the former Speaker, Netanita Mong, for the Speakership of the 12th Parliament. This is what people say about his bid.
I believe Mao is having a conviction, he's having a purpose, he's having a reason, he's having a mission for this country. He doesn't believe in money. That is one very special attribute that our leaders of these days, majority of them believe in money.
What does he have? The courage? He has the knowledge and the courage, and he's very bold. He will come and then say, this is what I want.
In her second term as the woman member of parliament for Kitgum district is Lillian Abe. Many describe her as a transition bridge between the old and young in the new order of governance.
She's one of the youngest MPs, not that old. She's still in that middle age. Two, she has been a loyal member. She's true loyal to this government. She does not have any bad reputation. In the last few years, she has been a minister.
She is also a grounded, trusted young leader. And Abe Lillian comes as somebody who represents the younger generation.
I think our coming in brings hope for us young people that it is possible, it can happen. And with that experience being a minister and being rooted in the national resistance movement, I believe she can handle that position very well.
While the public speaks highly of Mao's bid, many question if the NRM will trust an opposition key figure to lead parliamentary assignment.
His only problem could be not being an NRM person, and I don't see Norbert Mao taking up a position of a speaker because of his party as DP. If that is to happen, that will be a good thing for him, but on a 50 to 100%, I could give him about 0 to 100, I can give him about 60%.
Because this speakership is about the number. The only challenge with the Mao is him being in DP.
New Tusker Premium Cider. Crisp, delicious apples crushed and blended to create a unique taste explosion.
Cooking all that makes food sweet. Tastes so good like mama's keys. Sweet time masala, yeah. Stir God, it's the oil you cooking oil for a tasty meal to live a healthy, happy life. Stir God, refined, fortified, blended pure vegetable cooking oil.
Your uncle wants you to get a loan. He says you should buy a Beamer to stop embarrassing him in front of his friends with your malnourished car. That you should buy one of those expensive shirts they call Versace, so that people stop spreading rumors that his family has no style. That you need an iPhone because he's tired of biting his tongue whenever he tries to pronounce that funny thing you're holding. Good thing you've got ABSA. Our loans are not designed for others to change what they say about you. They are designed to support your growth. Visit absa.co.ug for personal loans that help where it matters. ABSA, your story matters.
Hey, hey, travelers! Are you a family gearing up for that big vacation, a hustler working abroad coming home, or your squad chasing sunsets and passport stamps? It's time you lock in. Say goodbye to long airport queues, shocking roaming bills, and the stress of hunting for local SIM cards, because now you can travel like a local. Stay connected in over 180 countries. Just scan, tap, and boom! Instant data the moment you reach your destination. Get your Rogue Travel eSIM today at travel.roguetelecom.co.ug. Contact us on 020-5000123.
How do you make a party? You take time to prepare, to bring all the pieces together, to craft it right. The result, great refreshment. And that makes it time well spent. Club, brewed longer for longer refreshment.
It's back, bigger, and with more business opportunities. It's the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo, Poate 2026, Uganda's flagship tourism event. Poate 2026 will take place from the 21st to the 23rd of May 2026 at the Speak Resort Convention Center, Munyonyo, under the theme Wanderlust. It's your time to thrive. Yes, it's your time to tap into Uganda's renewed optimism and tourism growth. Tourism stakeholders, travel trade partners, and tourism enthusiasts will be part of the Poate 2026. Come and network with like-minded people and unlock new business opportunities. To participate, register at www.poate.co.ug. Poate 2026 is brought to you by Uganda Tourism Board and partners.
Welcome back. You're still tuned in to NBS Live at 9. Let's continue on talking Anita Among. Now, the fall of Anita Among has stirred murmurs across the Busoga sub-region, where she had established a significant political footprint with a considerable influence in several districts. She built a network of allies across the region, including within the Busoga Kingdom.
The rise of Anita Among within NRM politics created deep political divisions in Busoga, a region that had for years been largely aligned with former Speaker Rebecca Kadaga, widely regarded as the political head of the sub-region. Among, who is married to Mos Magogo, presented herself to the people of Busoga as a leader capable of filling the gap left after Kadaga's defeat in the 2021 speakership race. Her entry into Busoga politics disrupted the status quo, creating two distinct power centers, one aligned to Rebecca Kadaga and another to Anita Among. The rivalry peaked during the NRM elections for Central Executive Committee positions, where both contested for the position of National Vice Chairperson, a female.
As people from Bujiri, we are in for Right Honorable Anita Annette Among.
Among emerged victorious with strong backing from Bukoli's Central MP Solomon Silwanyi, who served as her chief campaign coordinator in the region.
When you look at my district in Bujiri, all the MPs support her and most people support her.
In addition, Anita Among sponsored several candidates across the region, from NRM primaries for parliamentary seats to local government positions, while others remained loyal to Rebecca Kadaga.
How can I pay more? I want you people to support these people.
Although some of her preferred candidates did not succeed in the NRM primaries, Among continued to support them throughout the general campaign period, a move that sparked resistance within NRM ranks, particularly from Kadaga's camp. The recent fall of Anita Among has shocked many of her allies in Busoga. Several individuals contacted declined to speak openly about her current predicament, citing fear of possible political repercussions. Ginger-based lawyer and political analyst Paul Kawanguzi says that while efforts to fight corruption are commendable, the handling of Among's case suggests she may have been politically targeted due to her growing influence.
I think the government, the president is looking at, has been looking at Anita Among as having gained a lot of influence in the country. You see, her influence was actually threatening the transition.
He further notes that while a few close allies may feel her absence, the broader population may not significantly feel the impact.
Her loss may not actually affect Busoga so much. Whereas she would say, I want to be Mama Busoga, but I think she hadn't been embraced very well.
Well, let's move from Busoga now to Teso. A somber mood engulfed Bukedea district chambers on Monday as residents, local leaders and political supporters reacted emotionally to ongoing corruption and money laundering investigations involving former Speaker of Parliament Anita Among. Groups of residents were seen gathered in low-toned discussions, with many expressing shock, disappointment and concern over the developments surrounding one of Teso's most influential political figures.
Speaking to NBS before the swearing-in ceremony of newly elected leaders in Bukedea, several local leaders appealed to President Yoweri Museveni to pardon Anita Among, describing her as a strong mobilizer for the ruling national resistance movement and a key benefactor to many families in the sub-region.
We as the people of Bukedea, we have been benefiting through the Member of Parliament, the Right Honourable Speaker Among Anita. It is our request to the government, most especially to His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda. Whatever wrong she has done, we request that you pardon her and you sympathize with her.
His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, to pardon, to forgive Mama.
It's just a humble appeal.
The Right Honourable Speaker is a very great leader, very great mobilizer, and NRM knows.
Several speakers credited Anita Among for spearheading NRM mobilization efforts during the last elections, saying her grassroots campaign significantly contributed to the party's overwhelming support in Teso. Another local leader argued that Among's contribution to the ruling party should not be ignored.
But of course, he remains holding a stronger position of being the second vice chairperson female, which is quite strategic in serving the party of NRM, as she's waiting what message His Excellency, the President, will give on her next role.
Others described the investigations as painful and unsettling for residents who viewed the former speaker as a mother figure and provider. Some leaders claimed that many residents had benefited from employment opportunities allegedly secured through Anita Among's recommendations to Parliament and other government institutions. However, reactions across Teso remain divided, with some leaders demanding a broader and impartial fight against corruption instead of what they termed as selective justice.
I think it is important for government to fight corruption, but we shouldn't also be selective in the way we are prosecuting.
We don't want selective arrests. If it's to fight corruption, I think let's have the standard formats.
In Toronto City, reactions were equally mixed. While some residents appeared unbothered, others criticized what they described as selective prosecution of political figures.
Political analyst Benson Ekoe said Uganda's anti-corruption campaigns have historically collapsed due to political negotiations and interference.
I am very sure they will negotiate somewhere. Tomorrow you will hear that that case has also evaporated. So for me, there has never been a time when we are serious in our country for the fight against corruption.
Despite the criticism, some leaders maintain that government institutions should be allowed to carry out investigations independently and professionally.
Polarizing reactions over there. Now, on the other hand, the People's Front for Freedom National Chairperson Arias Lukwago believes former Speaker Anita Among will not be prosecuted despite the ongoing crackdown linked to allegations of corruption and money laundering. Lukwago says Among's troubles could ease following her withdrawal from the speakership race, arguing that the current actions by security agencies are merely intended to clip her wings.
While addressing the People's Front for Freedom weekly press briefing, the People's Front for Freedom National Chairperson Arias Lukwago described the ongoing security raids on former Speaker Anita Among's properties as efforts to weaken her political influence and dominance rather than a genuine fight against corruption. He argued that the ongoing crackdown is unlikely to culminate into prosecution, especially following Among's withdrawal from the race for the next Speaker of Parliament.
You will see those charges dropped, the charges of corruption. Now that she has conceded, she has capitulated, she's now on the floor, she's completely rolling herself over.
Lukwago further claimed that Among's predicament stemmed from her failure to keep her wealth and properties concealed, suggesting that several other government officials in similar positions have managed to keep their assets hidden from public scrutiny.
We think all these fronts here are acting on their own, but for them they have acted smart. A woman from Bukedia, she started showing off.
He also appealed to current members of Parliament to protect the image and sovereignty of Parliament, arguing that the Anita Among regime reduced the institution to an instrument under the absolute control of the executive.
And our frontline troops at Parliament, your work is cut out. How do we redeem the image of Parliament? How do we make sure that Parliament is not an appendage of State House?
Following the recent endorsement of Jacob Oboth, the Budama County South Member of Parliament, as the next Speaker of Parliament, Lukwago described the move as old wine in a new bottle.
Well, let's get more reactions from different political parties, such as the Opposition Forum for Democratic Change says the arrest and investigation of former Speaker of Parliament Anita Among over alleged graft is a positive step in the fight against corruption, but insists the move could be diversionary if broader corruption scandals are ignored. The party's Deputy National Chairperson Robert Centenary questioned the timing of the investigations, arguing that the wealth under scrutiny was accumulated over time while government agencies looked on without action. Centenary is now demanding that the anti-corruption campaign extends beyond Among and targets other major scandals involving senior government officials.
As former Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among faces investigations into alleged corruption. Security agencies continue searching her residences and confiscating properties suspected to have been acquired fraudulently. But as the investigation intensifies, some opposition politicians and former colleagues are questioning the timing and the scope of the crackdown. At the Forum for Democratic Change headquarters, where she formerly served as Deputy Treasury, Deputy National Chairman Robert Centenary reacted sharply to the ongoing investigations, describing them as selective.
President Museveni wants us to believe that the government he has been responsible for the last 40 years of institutionalized corruption has overnight become the biggest fighter of corruption. That selective prosecution is not justice. And we don't think President Museveni is fighting corruption. He's just trying to manage who among the corrupt retains his protection. This crusade of fighting corruption, moreover selectively, is diversionary. I do not think it is well intentioned.
Centenary cited the imprisonment of former minister Agnes Nandutu over the Karamoja iron sheet scandal, urging that many other senior officials implicated in the same scandal have not been prosecuted. He challenges the government to widen the anti-corruption crackdown beyond a few individuals.
Obviously, we know that the drama that has been taking place was to manage her out of the speakership race. Are we going to see this fight going on and on and on, downwards, up to the last corrupt officer?
The opposition parties is also demanding investigations into other high-profile scandals, including the Lubowa International Specialized Hospital project, the Atiak Sugar Factory controversy, and other alleged cases of misuse of public funds.
Now, moving slightly away from the politics, let's get into another story that affects your health. The Ministry of Health has announced a temporary ban on handshakes and other forms of physical greeting following the confirmation of 2 Ebola cases in the country. The Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Dr. Diana Twine says the move is aimed at reducing physical contact and preventing further spread of the deadly virus. This comes after one patient, a Congolese national, died at the Chiburi Muslim Hospital, while another is currently receiving treatment in isolation at Mulago National Referral Hospital. Our health reporter now brings us the details.
The Ministry of Health has intensified Ebola prevention measures across the country after Uganda confirmed 2 positive Ebola cases linked to Congolese nationals. Health officials say one of the patients died at Chibuli Muslim Hospital in Kampala, while the second patient remains under isolation and close monitoring at Mulago National Referral Hospital. As part of immediate preventive measures, the ministry has advised the public to avoid handshakes, hugs, and unnecessary physical contact while greeting one another. Officials say Ebola spreads through direct contact with infected bodily fluids, making physical interaction one of the major risks for transmission.
We are saying stop greeting. If you have Ebola and you come and sit there, and I sit here, in the same room, if I don't touch you, if I don't greet you and then I get your sweat in your hand, if I don't treat you and get in contact with your body fluid, like sweat, like tears, like urine, like vomit, like diarrhea material, blood, if I don't get any of that, I will not get. It's not like COVID. That if I sit here and you breathe and I breathe and I will get COVID. So this one, it is physical contact.
The ministry is also encouraging regular hand washing, use of sanitizers, and immediate reporting of suspected symptoms such as fever, vomiting, bleeding, and severe weaknesses. Authorities have, however, called for calm among the public, assuring Ugandans that the outbreak is under control and response teams are already conducting contact tracing and surveillance. Uganda has previously managed several Ebola outbreaks successfully, with health experts pointing to improved surveillance systems and rapid response mechanisms developed over the years.
The efficiency or the effectiveness of our response is largely depending on how quick we test, how quick we identify the problem, and how quick we isolate those people who are in contact with the patients.
The ministry has also clarified concerns surrounding the postponement of this year's Mother's Day celebrations, saying the decision was taken as a precautionary public health measure to avoid large gatherings that could increase the risk of transmission. Mother's Day annually attracts millions of pilgrims from Uganda and neighboring countries, making crowd control a major concern during an outbreak. Health officials say the temporary restrictions will remain in place as the government continues to assess the situation.
The spiritual function, there are so many sentiments attached to it, including healing. And if I am sick in Congo and I hear there is Martyrs' Day, I will walk. If you close me in Mpondwe, I will pass in Panya, because I believe that if I come and I get this water, I will be healed. The best would be we postpone the event, we deal with the problem. Once the problem is done, they are free to come in.
Earlier today, the Uganda Episcopal Conference issued formal pastoral guidance to the Catholic faithful following the government's decision to postpone the National Uganda Martyrs' Day celebrations originally scheduled for June 3rd, 2026 at Namugongo, Wakiso District. But as the country heightens violence at hospitals, border points and public spaces, authorities are urging citizens to cooperate with the health teams and strictly follow preventive guidelines to stop the spread of Ebola.
Now, still staying with the same story, hope and excitement among Congolese pilgrims in Kasese district turned into disappointment after government postponed this year's Uganda Martyrs' Day celebrations over the Ebola outbreak linked to Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The decision has forced 78 Congolese pilgrims who had already crossed into Uganda to abandon their journey to Namugongo and return home.
On Friday, the Catholic Diocese of Kasese, led by the Bishop Francis Aquinas Kibira, welcomed 78 pilgrims from Eastern DRC who had arrived on foot ahead of the annual pilgrimage to Namugongo. The pilgrims were received with joy and hosted at Kabuyiri, Catholic shrine in Mpondwe Rubidiha Town Council, as they prepared to begin their long spiritual journey together with hundreds of other pilgrims from Kasese Diocese on May 19th. However, their hopes were cut short following a directive by President Yoweri Museveni postponing the Martyrs' Day celebrations to a later date due to concerns over the Ebola outbreak reportedly linked to Eastern DRC. Today, the group appeared confused and heartbroken as they prepared to return to Congo, saying the purpose that had brought them to Uganda had not been fulfilled.
Tulikuwa tayari kuenda kwa safari ya Namugongo. Sasa tumerudi kwa sababu.
Despite the disappointment, the pilgrims expressed hope that once the Ebola situation is contained, they will return to complete their journey of faith. The group, which had crossed into Uganda on foot, says this time they will use motorcycles and vehicles to return home.
Tuko tayari tena kuenda katika safari ya Namugongo kwenda omba watakatifu wa Uganda.
Meanwhile, the Kasese District Ebola Task Force, headed by the Resident District Commissioner Joy Walusimbi, says security and health surveillance at border points will now be intensified, especially along porous routes, to ensure controlled movement between Uganda and DR Congo.
Especially, we're going to concentrate on the border because our border is porous, it's big. We have no security people we can deploy there, but we shall talk to the community through sensitization that they may even inform our brothers and sisters from DRC. But we have also agreed that Wera Hospital should have the isolation center. They should shoot things right which are not there, and even think about Bukochi.
Well, moving away from Ebola, don't forget now, no handshakes and so on. But stranded passengers, deserted highways, running battles with police officers and tear gas canisters are what marked Kenya's nationwide transport strike that paralyzed the transport sector. The Transport Sector Alliance on Sunday announced the operators will be downing their tools to protest against the high cost of fuel, which has translated to the high cost of living. Brian Amwai reports that the protest has left one person dead after he was run over by a police vehicle.
Early morning, it started as a walking nation. Hours later, it became a running nation. As police engaged protesters in running battles. Empty bus stations and highways that recorded little to no activity was a clear indication that PSV owners and Kenyans in general have had enough.
Kitu yenye mimi naona hapa hivi, serikali irudishe mafuta chini, at least ndo kila kitu iende, kila kitu isongi.
Unaweza teremsha hiyo mafuta na tukusikize, otherwise tutafanya uamuzi wetu.
Bonfires were lit. Roads barricaded, and in attempts to bring back normalcy, security officers used tear gas to disperse crowds that gathered in different cities and towns in the country. Their main concern is the rise in the cost of fuel, which now goes for 246 Kenya shillings for diesel and 214 Kenya shillings for petrol in Nairobi, a situation that the state says has been occasioned by the war in Iran.
Though we have had challenges of war in Middle East that has resulted in high fuel prices across the globe, in our region and everywhere else.
Njia ya kupunguza bei ya mafuta sio maandamano. Na mimi nakemea wale ambao siku ya leo wametumia shida ambayo tuko nayo, ambayo ni shida ya dunia nzima.
Kenyans calling on the government to step in and find a solution that will work in their favor.
Maisha ni ngumu, kuongea ukweli, maisha sio rahisi. Kila kitu iko juu. Mafuta juu, unga, kila kitu iko juu.
Into that is police brutality synonymous with Kenyan protests was witnessed in full gear as they ran over a young protester in Nakuru to his death.
Clarification that the man that we saw on the street there, it's not a bullet, he wasn't shot, he was ran over by a police vehicle.
Their actions condemned.
Tunakuja tu kuandamana vizuri na nyinyi mnatupiga matia gas. Sasa
agitating for fuel prices deserves, guarantees you the rights to shoot and kill. No, that's unfortunate.
The government, through the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury and Energy, now says they intend to meet with stakeholders from the transport sector this evening to find an amicable solution. This coming despite the CS Treasury John Buddy indicating that the prices will remain unchanged until the next review cycle. Now, this roundabout on a day like today at a time like this is always swelling with traffic, with vehicles bumper to bumper. But that is not the case today. As the country goes to sleep tonight, the reality of the high cost of living and the rising cost of fuel remains much alive. Whether the actions today are going to force the government into action is a wait-and-see scenario. Brian Amuai, K24, Nairobi.
Now, coming back here home, Mityana municipality remains without a permanent home for 10 years, highlighting the challenges of urban development amid limited resources and administrative hurdles. The first phase of construction has dragged on for more than 6 years, with a second phase launched during the 2024-25 financial year, but it is yet to yield visible occupancy. Municipality leaders say that the absence of a dedicated headquarters has slowed administrative efficiency and limited expansion of key services.
Created by an Act of Parliament in July 2015, Mityana municipality has had 2 mayors, starting with Esther Ndianabo. Since its inception, it has operated from temporary premises formerly used by Mityana district under the Ministry of Agriculture. Despite ongoing construction, concerns persist over service delivery and long-term planning. The current facility is rent-free but was never meant to be permanent. Plans for a new 4-story headquarters began years ago with an initial estimate of 8 billion Uganda shillings.
We started off with the construction of the first phase, what we call the first phase of this project. We learned from the indicative planning figures that are provided every financial year that we are given over 200 million from the center, and we also generate some revenue from our residents in Mityana, which is all put in one basket and put on the municipality headquarter construction.
The first phase of construction has dragged on for more than 6 years, with a second phase launched in the 2024-2025 financial year, yet to yield visible occupancy, despite the project being projected to cost up to 10 billion Uganda shillings.
We are dismayed by the progress that is on this project. 2 months back, around 7 or 8 months, there is a sum that was allocated over 200 million on this very project to complete this site that has been walled, but it's not under occupation still.
So the real budget for this project was estimated to be 8 billion. But because this project has kind of stalled, you may end up spending 10 billion instead of 8 billion because of inflation and all that.
So far, about 1 billion shillings has been invested, largely sourced from annual central government allocations of over 200 million shillings, supplemented by locally generated revenue. Despite this funding, progress has remained low.
And so far, we're not yet done with the ground floor. So if we have to continue getting 300 only, then we shall not finish that project in the next 30 years.
The plan to complete the building in phases, moving in to finished sections while work continues, has not been fully carried out. Leaders attribute the delay to unclear priorities and a lack of concrete implementation strategy.
So we are looking forward at occupying these premises next financial year.
Although 60 million shillings was recently approved to secure a lease title from the Uganda Land Board, no formal agreement has been presented. Locally, leaders warn that without proof of ownership, it is difficult to attract external funding.
We just recently passed a supplementary and paid 60 million for purposes of securing a land title from Uganda Land Board. That's a lease title.
Sharing premises with the police and district production departments, along with using some areas for storage, has created operational challenges for the municipality.
But then when we left office, we thought that the program was actually going on. But we do believe, I think the problem might have been with the lobbying, especially lobbying of the funds. But now that we are back, and most of us actually know where power lies, we shall get in touch with the mayor, the Honorable Mukambwe. We move together, and then we lobby funds to have the municipality headquarters constructed.
Well, let's have a look at our social spotlight this evening, see what our top leaders are saying. David Bahati, today I met a team of investors interested in manufacturing. Industrialization for value addition and wealth creation is pivotal to the tenfold growth strategy. Uganda remains the best investment destination on the continent. Antonio Guterres, housing is a human right and fundamental for human dignity. Yet, nearly 3 billion people live in inadequate housing, often in informal settlements and slums. We must put housing at the center of sustainable development, leaving no one behind. Honorable Dr. Mukasa Fred Mbide says, as a cooperating partner, I previously endorsed the earlier CEC positions of Anita and Tayebo. I recognize the recent decisions so made and penultimately, that's the word, noto to updated positions with respect and understanding going forward. I hope I read that English correctly. Well, allow me to take you through the top stories tonight. Former Speaker Anita Among's luxury cars seized from her Chigo residence and taken to police for forensic analysis. While silence fills Parliament as its leadership investigations are heightened. Now, political analysts weigh in on Anita Among's letter indicating she has withdrawn from the speakership race. It has absolutely been a full bulletin, but we're going to go ahead and take a quick break.
So tasty, delicious, some snacks, so yummy, 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 yummy. Some snacks, it's so my tummy, tummy. Just a grabbing when
boy and girl, come here, so. Uncle Son's got you. May have some snacks for you. Your man, papa, your granny and your picnic. Well, if I can, the snacks for you. Come pick anything you want. Some snacks for your tummy. Yummy, yummy.
Sam's, delivering memorable moments in every household.
This PDM is to get all of you out of poverty. That's why we said 100 million per parish per year.
The parish development model is designed to eradicate poverty by providing the support necessary for financial independence.
We have seen how 1 million, how much 1 million can do. The whole of Uganda is very rich. So what you call poverty is actually ignorance. We need everybody to come up.
Let us all take advantage of the conducive prevailing atmosphere of political stability, peace and security to ensure that all our people come out of poverty.
And I've told the banks to stop deducting from the 1 million. You must get the 1 million full. The government is the one which will pay the bank charges.
Now the number of stools in this Matoke enterprise are 1,000. They are on 1 acre. And we harvest 17 bunches every day. The money that we get from this Matoke, after selling each bunch at 15,000 shillings, for the whole year, we get 91.9 million shillings. So I want to encourage all the people of Teso also to change the mindset and adopt to new crops which were not traditionally grown here.
We emphasize 2 words, wealth and jobs. This PDM is to get all of you out of poverty.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance.
Business Pulse, brought to you by
Let's jump onto the business desk. Uganda's gold export sector is experiencing an unprecedented boom, with export earnings surpassing $5 billion, driven largely by increased local refining and liberalized capital accounts. The Bank of Uganda says reforms that eased capital movement and strengthened value addition in the mineral sector have transformed Uganda into a major regional gold refining hub, allowing the country to export refined gold rather than raw materials.
Uganda's glittering gold trade is rapidly becoming one of the country's biggest economic stories, reshaping export earnings and strengthening foreign exchange inflows at a time when the economy is searching for new engines of growth. Uganda is now emerging as a regional gold refining hub, with export revenues crossing the $5 billion mark. With export revenues crossing the $5 billion mark, the boom, according to the central bank, is fueled by value addition, liberalized capital accounts, and growing international demand for refined gold.
These are some of the benefits associated with opening account many years ago, because in the case of Uganda, whatever you do, you earn your dollars. Nobody is going to restrict you when to take it out, and so that openness. That's why you are talking about 9 refineries now refining gold, and gold is coming from all over. And I think it is really a benefit. We are being rewarded for having an open capital account, which we opened in the early 1990s. So these are some of the benefits associated with open account in terms of balance of payment.
But beneath the impressive numbers lies a deeper debate about the future of the industry, as economists urge that the formalization and commercializing the sector could unlock even greater gains for the economy. They say a large portion of the sector operates outside the formal regulatory and tax structures, limiting the full economic benefits that Uganda could derive from the booming industry.
Now gold has overtaken coffee as a leading export
you know, so, and then you see a mix between formal businesses like Wagagai, and then you have the informal miners, for instance, in Mubende and Karamoja and so on. So I think what we need to do as a country is to improve commercial mining, to professionalize, especially small-scale mining, make sure that it's less informal, less hazardous, improve our refining capacity, and also make sure that we are well integrated in export markets.
At the Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotion Authorities say that the shift towards domestic refining has significantly boosted export revenues, improved foreign exchange inflows, and elevated Uganda's standing in the regional minerals trade.
As a country, we've been very deliberate on promoting value addition, especially in our mineral resources. So we note that we have positioned ourselves to be a hub through the enabling legal but also economic environment, which has made Uganda competitive in terms of refining gold. So that's why in the last 5 years, we see an influx of companies coming from the Middle East, coming from Asia, coming in to actually refine imported gold.
Now, Association for Social Advancement, or ASA International, has launched a new micro, small and medium enterprises loan product in Uganda in a move aimed at expanding financing options for women-owned businesses and deepening competition in the country's microfinance sector. The product, unveiled on the company's offices in Kampala, will offer loans ranging from 8 million shillings to 35 million shillings to women entrepreneurs seeking to expand and diversify their businesses.
Monday morning, in the upscale hills of Chigo, Mutungo in Wakiso district, the mood was tense at the home of the former Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among. UPDF trucks were still visible inside. Police flatbed car carriers entered the premises. Moments later, the convoy of the outgoing speaker also followed. Within minutes, the police car carriers started.
Package includes the MSME Silver, offering between 8 million shillings to 15 million shillings, and MSME Gold, ranging from 15 million shillings to 35 million shillings, with repayment periods of up to 24 months. The Assistant Commissioner for Microfinance Regulation and Supervision at the Ministry of Finance, Rachel Vanessa Muhwezi, says the private sector remains the country's largest employer and a key driver of economic transformation.
Actually, where we sit, when you look at how many people or how many the 45 million population or 6 million that we have, government is employing lower than 1 million. We don't even reach 700,000 staff, the total government.
ASA International Group Chief Executive Officer Rob Kejas says Uganda had become the first market within the multinational microfinance group to roll out the MSME product due to its strong entrepreneurial culture, and ASA has established operations in the country.
ASA Uganda has consistently demonstrated over the last couple of years a strong entrepreneurial spirit, a vibrant MSME sector, a committed ASA team with a capability and a vision to bring this to life, to bring this dream alive.
Muzora Kaboga.